It's time for your daily dose of all things Chicago sports. This is the Daily Score. Now, here's your host, Mark Grote.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome into the Daily Score. I am Mark Grote, and we are certainly talking about the Bears. The Bears were back at Haugh on Monday after the bye week and coming off a November 27th win against Minnesota. So the Bears now 4-8 after that 12-10 win where the defense dominated and the offense left a lot to be desired in terms of actually putting touchdowns on the board. But let's start with the questions about Matt Eberflus, as we still have to ask those questions in terms of, is Matt Eberflus long for this job in terms of being here and being the Bears head coach? And then there's other people's whose potential Bears careers could be on the line as well. So let's start there. You'll hear the question and the answer here, a couple of them, including myself, asking a question to Matt Eberflus about what's going to go down once the season ends. Let's hear how he's answering these questions.
Matt, do you feel the weight of what's at stake over the rest of the season here for key people in the organization like you, Luke Getsy, Justin, in a season where it hasn't gone like you wanted to, that you guys have a lot to prove to get to stay?
Yeah, the season didn't start off the way everybody wanted for sure, but over the last 8 weeks we've put some good things out there, and we're certainly excited about doing that this week. Our focus is, as any time in the NFL, is where your feet are. We got to be focused on this game and this game only to put your best performance out there, and that's what we're doing this week.
Is that pressure new to you at all, having been an assistant for so long and having been a very successful assistant? I don't know if there's been a lot of, end-of-season stretches like this where you feel like you have a lot on the line individually.
No, that's a good question. Yeah, certainly you feel that. During the course of my 32 years, you feel it over the time. And you just got to put your best foot forward, just keep working and grinding and keep executing, get the guys to focus and wire in, being positive, but also being real with the players so they can improve. And the same way with your staff, where we need to improve at and what we need to get better at. So that's no different this year than any other year.
You said in the past that you understand, because you've been around, the speculation about your job. But Ryan Poles has been nothing but praising the work that you've done. That said, do you feel safe? Because Ryan Poles has been always stood up for you.
Yeah, what you can focus on is leadership, right? And the first rule of leadership is leading yourself, right? So come to work every day, put the plans together, offense, defense, special teams, lead the football team, help the leadership council, lead the football team as well. Because, true leadership comes from within. And I think it's really what you focus on. And that's put your best foot forward every single day.
All right. I mean, to some degree, you obviously didn't get specific with the answer, just talking about how he's going to go on with his, Bears head coaching career. I actually have no problem with the way he's answered these questions. I think he's done it confidently, and he's never really skipped a beat. He's not looked at us ill when we've asked these kinds of questions, and it sucks having to ask these kinds of questions. These are human beings, and to ask about their careers is never not awkward to me. And I know that it's sport within the sports, and I get it, and I do it, and I'm complicit, and I'll keep doing it. But trust me, it sucks when you have to ask these questions. And I think on the overall, the Flus has answered them pretty well. Now, I still think that, and that's why I asked the Ryan Poles question, because, until I hear differently, the way Poles has answered questions about Matt Eberflus is not just the standard, we have confidence in Matt Eberflus and we're going to evaluate him the way we evaluate everybody else. No, it's not like that. It's like, he's the guy. That's what Poles has said. Now, we haven't talked to Poles for several weeks now. So, he is obviously, he can change his mind, but my gut still says throughout all of this that Matt Eberflus will be back. Let's get into the Lions a little bit. We know what happened in Week 11. They lost 31-26. The defense collapsed, blew a 12-point lead in the final few minutes of the game. Jamison Williams making the big play. David Montgomery with a touchdown. Aiden Hutchinson with a massive defensive play to essentially put the game away. What I wanted to know from the Flus is basically these guys pissed off. How do they, are they ready to just romp the Lions at Soldier Field this week?
Yeah, you can feel a motivation there and optimism and certainly the focus. with our guys today. You could feel that, and the energy. You could feel that for sure out at the walkthrough. The guys are wired in and want to perform well this week.
How do you plan on being better this time? Because it was such a stark difference.
Yeah, all you can do is look at the tape, right? You look at the tape, and then you look on the things that you did well and the looks that you gave and play off of those looks. I think that's a very important thing to do, and then the things you can improve on. Obviously the 2 minute, was something we needed to improve on defensively, and then the 4 minute on offense. And, we did that last week. We did a 4 minute, 2 minute operation. It was better, and that was improvement. And that's what you can, all you can do is focus on your last performance, and certainly got things to improve on the last time we played these guys.
Yep. And that's the answer. I mean, the 2 minutes, if 2 minute defense was anything in that game, the Bears do win that game now, and Justin Fields played well in that game too. Now, it does feel like the Bears, based on how well they played in Detroit for most of that game, that they'd have a decent chance of winning this game. However, Detroit will adjust. They will adjust to what Justin Fields was doing. So I am undecided about this game, but I do feel like it's going to be close, and I mean it when I'll be asking these players this week about, there's that internal motivation of we should have won that game. Now you're at our place, and I'm going to beat you. So that'll definitely be a theme throughout the week. All right, Bears 4-8. Cole Kmet was probably about as optimistic as anybody I've heard at this point, and he was talking about making a run.
I'm treating it like we're in playoff mode now. I think 5 very winnable games here to end the season, and who knows what can happen at 9-8. And I'm not looking too big picture, but you take it 1 week at a time. I think there's a lot of flux at the bottom of the NFC here. Especially for that 7-6 spot. You never know what can happen, but you just got to take it 1 week at a time, and we'll see where it goes.
It's amazing how fine the line is in this league to where you're talking about playoffs now. Mm-hmm. 3 weeks ago, the sky was falling.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why, I always talk about the margins being so thin. And, you definitely look back at a couple games in the season, and, I can think of 2 that, really, really should have won. And, you win those, you're just out of the play. I think we'd be just out of the playoff mark at this point. But we are where we're at right now. And, that's this league. But at the end of the day, we're still you're still kind of in it, even though it's been a really not a great start to start the season out here. But you got 5 games to finish this thing off, and we'll see where it lays if we can get to 9-8 here.
Yeah, and those bad games he must be referring to Detroit and Denver. I mean, look, the only real slam dunk, I believe, in terms of their last 5 games would be the Arizona game at home in 4 weeks. That's the only one, because they host Detroit. Detroit's really good, regardless of how close the Bears came. Cleveland 7-5. Arizona, I said they could win. Atlanta's 500 all of a sudden. That's another home game. And then they're at Green Bay to end the season. So there's maybe a gimme, and that would be Arizona. Matter of fact, I'm going to say it. That's a gimme win for the Bears, or at least it ought to be. And that's not something I've said this year. So ought to be interesting. But the Bears aren't going to make the playoffs. I don't see them winning 5 out of 5. But, it's fun to talk about. 9-8 would be, that would be extraordinary if they turn this season around like that. Like, probably historic for the Bears. Last guy I want you to hear from is one of the best Bears defenders this year, TJ Edwards. And the theme with Edwards is the entire NFC North is playing well. Here's Edwards.
Again, I think that's the general path of the NFL. I think everyone starts playing their best football. Obviously you get more reps in. There's more chemistry being built within new schemes, new players and things like that. So everyone feels a lot more comfortable at this time. And you see a lot of good football being played. And you see a lot of games going down the wire. You see that at the end of the game, it's who can make those big plays to seal it. And we got the guys to do that on our team as well. So we're excited about that.
A lot of what ifs and uncertainty, but as you measure this team, what gives you hope? What do you draw to that you see this is going the way you guys want it to go?
Yeah, I think we're a lot better than our record. I think we have. You see it on film. You see all the plays that are being made. You see, the effort that's there, and I think that's one thing that's not looked on as much as just the tenacity that people are playing with. That's hard to do every single play where someone's giving it their all, and you see that on film with our team. But again, it is the league in terms of you are what your record shows and things like that. But I don't think we necessarily believe that. I think we know we're a good football team, and we got to go out there and kind of like you alluded to earlier, finish, and we got to make those plays at the end of the game to seal those victories.
Well, looking at the division, the Lions are 9-3, Bears 4-8. Pack has won 3 in a row. They're 6-6. Minnesota is 6-6. Everybody in the division except for the Bears is 500 or above. So it is interesting how things change quickly in the NFL, and it would be pretty sick if the Bears were able to pull something crazy off. I don't see it, but look, it is as cliche as it sounds. It is the NFL, and is, as they were talking about it, and Kmet, my question to him, it is a razor thin margin for the NFL. You start to win a couple of games, and all of a sudden things look better no matter where you are in the league. See, I'm trying to see if the last thing is that it looks like Tyreek Stevenson has been dealing with an ankle injury. The way Matt Eberflus was talking today, it makes it sound like he should be good to go by the Detroit game with that ankle injury. But that is certainly not a slam dunk. No official injury report, just a walkthrough practice for the Bears on Monday. So that was pretty easy to kind of infer from the things that he was saying. That is going to be it for today's episode. Thanks to everybody for listening and watching like you always do. Thanks for subscribing to the Daily Score. I appreciate it. And for our executive producer, Ray Diaz, I am Mark Grote. I will talk to you tomorrow.